Welcome back to MMA Live, powered by Victory Motorcycles.
Another week and another change to a UFC pay-per-view card. Vitor Belfort is out of his UFC 147 fight with Wanderlei Silva due to a broken hand. The fight was going to take place in Brazil, a grudge match, 14 years in the making. Wanderlei not too happy about the injury to his rival. Here's what he had to say about it on Twitter, my best Wanderlei voice. If you were scared, shouldn't have accepted it. If you really got it broken, it's amateurism. And if you didn't, you're scared. I'll go back to my voice for the minute. In both scenarios, it was irresponsible of you towards the fans. Laugh it up, Milicic. Pardon the word, but I'm pissed with your amateurism. A main event on the biggest event of the world, and the guy shows up like that. Some choice words from the axe murderer. Pat, your thoughts on what he said there about what would have been his opponent?
Well, Wanderlei's obviously angry, number one, because he got smoked. He got lit up like a Christmas tree in Brazil some years ago by Vitor Belfort, and he wanted to pay him back in his home country and settle the score with him. But so that's really where it comes from. He's just frustrated, I think.
Not to age you, but you were on that card, correct?
Yes, I was.
And you had a chit-chat with Vitor Belfort ahead of the main event.
Yeah, he was honestly, he was a bit of a head case back in those days, so I had to, the coaches came and asked me to give him a pep talk before the fight. I can't take credit for the win, but it was fun getting him pumped up. He was scared and got pumped as the fight got close.
You can take credit, okay? Rich Franklin, by the way, has been named Vitor's replacement, setting up a rematch with Silva at a 190-pound catch weight fight. Chuck, you spoke with the Franklin camp. What is the latest there?
Yeah, I got a chance to catch up with JT Stewart, who's part of his management team, and basically it was presented to, Rich was out training in Singapore for the last month for a kickboxer who's going to be fighting Fung Lee, UFC 148. Well, he got the call that they needed him in a pinch again to step in, and ever the company man that Rich Franklin is, he said yes. But he had a really quick turnaround to do it, 24 hours, so he's been kind of traveling around the world. He kind of agreed. It was his idea to do it at catch weight 190 pounds, so he didn't have to kind of lose that excess pounds, the acceleration of the fight. So that's where things stand, and Rich, once again, being the company man, stepping in.
And a great opportunity for him, certainly, going into the Brazilian cauldron to fight one of their favorite sons in Wanderlei Silva, that UFC 147. The powers that be at UFC, no doubt relieved to get their all-heavyweight card behind them. The event, with its unstable lineup, caused matchmakers unprecedented headaches within the company. And according to our panel of experts, it is unanimous. Do not expect to see a card like that again anytime soon. And that's a shame, as UFC 146 delivered some tremendous action worthy of an MMA Live Top 5, but there was more, a lot more this weekend. How about Bellator 70, Luis Nogueira and Hiroshi Nakamura, and international incidents?
Yeah, I mean, this fight was back and forth in the first two rounds, and Nogueira was able to catch him there with that left and explosion drapes late in the third round there. Good-looking fight for him. He advances in the Bellator to the Bellator finals in the bantamweight division.
So you have Big Nog, Little Nog, and now pocket-sized Nog. As we go to number 4, the UFC 146 undercard, Dan Hardy, Dwayne Ludwig.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Hardy had that left coiled for most of the fight. He was able to uncork it there and put Ludwig away.
Yeah, Ludwig was looking nice up until that point, but at what point are guys going to learn to keep their right hand up against the left hook throwing Dan Hardy?
First round, Franklin McNeil last week said this would be a fight to watch. He spoke the gospel there. Number 3, Titan Fighting Championship, Andrew Whitney and Jose Vega.
Yeah, Vega started out the fight really well, putting Whitney on his back early on and landing some good shots. But Whitney came out and landed some really heavy shots. That overhand right put Vega away. You can see it there and sent him to sleep.
Very fast action from Titan Fighting Championship number 22, a KO in the first round. And number 2, back to Titan Fighting Championship, it's Mirsad Bektic and Willie Mack.
Bektic has serious power. My broadcast partner, Michael Chavella, told me, watch this kid. He's incredible, and he certainly delivered, putting Ward away. And the referee really stepped in late in this fight. Hats off to the Kansas Athletic Commission, because they pulled him from the rest of that card. It's the first time I've seen an athletic commission act like that, and they did the right thing.
It's very serious business, as you can see that Mack was out early in that flurry. And number 1, UFC 146, Roy Nelson and Dave Herman.
Yeah, this is shades of the Stefan Struve fight. He just waited in there with that big overhand right, landed it, only needed one more to kind of, shut things down.
Yeah, Nelson sent Herman into the Ric Flair spin.
Herman should have gone with the hairy look. We said it here last week. He decided to go clean-shaven, and as for Roy Nelson, get to my belly! KO in the first round, a tremendous card. Those were the top 5 moments of the weekend. Now, Pat, what stood out to you in a really remarkable couple days?
Well, I think Jamie Varner making his comeback after 5 years out of the UFC, being able to really, he struggled off and on out of the organization and was able to come back and capitalize on a rare opportunity. He was a last-minute replacement, came in, won a big fight. Jamie Varner still has the power to hurt anybody and is certainly athletic enough to hang with anyone.
And a learning lesson for Edson Barboza. And Chuck, in your article, you touched on what the life has been like for these top prospects in MMA. Another guy going down. Yeah,
in April we closed out with Rory McDonald, Mike McDonald, kind of upholding their status as these kind of being speculated in the title picture at their young ages. Well, May has been sort of the opposite. Edson Barboza being a perfect example, losing to the veteran Jamie Varner. But you also had Dustin Poirier earlier in the month losing to the Korean Zombie, and of course Diego Brandao, who dropped his fight here against Darren Elkins. So it's been rough sledding this month for the prospects.
And really one of the great things about this sport is that you have the guy with all the talent, with all the prestige, and then he gets taken out by a guy who's been around the block a few times in Varner.
A lot of ways to win and lose in this sport. Got to definitely stay on your toes.
All right, and a lesson certainly for Edson Barboza. We expect big things for him on the horizon. We, however, are out of time. So on behalf of Chuck Mindenhall and Pat Miletich, we will see you next Thursday, 11:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Until then, so long.